Hello， 大家好啊！歡迎大家翻嚟收睇由 Riverlight Asia 主持嘅直播，我係 Vanessa。
我係 Evan，Hello， 大家好。今日Vanessa， 我哋今日咧其實就同大家講澳洲喎。咁咧，其實澳洲咧，我哋即係一直都有，之前都有做過啊。咁都有唔同嘅城市啦。咁其實今日咧，我就比較特別啲。我哋其實咧就諗住一次過咧，就同大家咧就講下澳洲唔同城市究竟有啲乜嘢嘅即係樓盤或者項目可以介紹俾大家。咁當然啦，除咗項目之外咧，咁我哋咧亦都想同大家亦都分享下而家究竟喺嗰個法律上啦，因為其實大家買樓啦，其實即係或者去移民啊，或者可能去買樓啦，其實都牽涉到好多 legal 啊、法律啊、稅務啊，或者可能係一啲即係移民諮詢嗰個問題啊。咁所以其實我哋今日咧，其實今日嘅節目就比較特別啲，我哋咧就我講下而家澳洲而家點啦。咁其實講下啲即係 legal side 嘅嘢啦，亦都講下我哋嗰個即係移民政策。因為我相信其實可能如果大家都有即係香港朋友有留意開澳洲移民嘅話，其實亦都知道咧，其實嗰個移民法咧其實都有啲更新啦。咁我哋咧有見及亦都想同大家都即係同大家分享下
啦，可能俾多啲資訊大家啦。咁所以其實今日即係澳洲咁大啦，咁主要通常大家比較熟悉可能就悉尼啊、Melbourne 啊，咁但係今日咧都會即係可能因為其實移居啊、留學啊或者投資等等咧，即係可能大家都想留意多啲唔同城市啦。咁所以可能我哋今日Queensland 啊同埋其他州咧，我哋都會係啦，我哋都會講到嘅。
係啊，咁佢其實咧今日嗰個節目非常之豐富，咁其實咧大家咧就唔好錯過啦。咁或者我哋咧都會即係我知道可能大家好多問題啊。其實有陣時大家都知啦，即係喺海外投資啦、海外買樓啦，其實咧都有好多唔同嘅問題啊。咁我哋今日頭先都有提到啦，我哋今日同大家咧就會去高呼下，究竟係即係喺法律上啦，喺我嘅移民政策嗰度啊，之後去到買樓呢幾即係好多樣嘢。咁大家如果有啲乜嘢問題或者有啲咩想知咧，咁其實咧而家可以喺我哋嗰個即係留言，即係 Facebook comment box 啦留言啦，咁我哋都話俾我哋聽，其實你想問啲咩問題，咁我哋去到咧即係直播嘅，即係差唔多嘅直播時間啦，我哋都會即係將你嘅問題咧就同我哋嘅嘉賓咧就去問翻㗎，咁希望可以都即係解答到大家嗰個問題咯。係啦，咁同埋咧，我哋都知道啊，我哋即係大家唔同，即係無論係即係投資啦、買樓啦、移民啦，或者好多樣嘢咧，其實都有自己唔同嘅要求啊。咁所以其實咧都會即係建議翻大家都揾翻啲專業人士。咁所以咧當然啦，揾專業人士之外咧，都希望我哋今日可以即係做呢個直播，分享大家嘅資訊咧，可以做俾我一個即係比較實用啲嘅參考啦。係啦，咁當然啦，都多謝大家收睇我哋呢個直播啦。咁同埋希望都可以即係支持我哋嘅 Riverside Asia Hong Kong 啦。咁有啲乜嘢你都可以私信我哋嘅。係啦，咁所以其實我哋今日咧頭先都話，我哋今日講咗好多嘢，同埋亦都有唔同嘅直播啦。咁其實呢個點解會有咁多嘅即係項目喺唔同嘅地方？因為我哋本身今日咧就好即係都好榮幸邀請到咧喺澳洲一個比較大嘅，即係都其中一個好大嘅發展商就係 Frasers Property 啦。咁其實 Frasers Property 咧，其實喺澳洲嚟講咧，都係一個比較即係嗰個聲譽啦，同埋嗰個規模咧都係好大啊。咁所以咧，所以點解我哋今日咧就集齊咗咁多佢哋喺唔同嘅，即係喺澳洲唔同嘅城市嘅項目啦，可以推介，可以同大家去分享下咯。係啦，咁我哋咧即係事不宜遲啦，咁不如我哋咧就介紹我哋今日第一位嘉賓出嚟先。係啦。咁我哋呢個嘉賓咧，其實咧佢就係 Frasers Property 咧佢嘅International Sales Director。咁其實咧Robert 咧，其實一陣都會同我哋去講下，其實究竟即係而家有啲澳洲其實而家大家咁都會有興趣澳洲嘅物業啦。咁其實究竟喺未來呢一年2021年，究竟其實佢會有啲乜嘢
環球市場啦，係啦，佢都同我哋分析一下啦。
係啦。好，我哋介紹出嚟先。Hello Robert。Good
afternoon. How are you?
Hi, good. And would you like to say hi to our Hong Kong audience first and introduce yourself?
Yes, indeed. Well, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Really good to be here. My name is Robert Pearce. I'm the International Sales Director for Frasers Property Australia. And I'll be kicking off by giving you an update on the current Australia residential market and also a little bit of an introduction to Frasers Property Australia and the wider group of Frasers as well.
Yep. And we know that you are going to give us some insights or the forecast of the Australian property in 2021. So may we start now? Yeah.
Absolutely, let's go. So just to set the agenda for everybody, because it's not just me, we have a panel of experts on the webinar today, each from different areas of the Australian real estate ecosystem. So I'll be briefly introducing Frasers to start in Australia. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the current trends that we see in the Australian residential property market. And also what we expect the outlook to look like over the next 6 to 12 months. When I have finished that, we will be handing over to Roland Voon, principal at Lloyd Meridian Legal, based in Melbourne, who will be reviewing the legal advantages when purchasing a property in Australia. Roland, a lot of experience in his field, multinational experience, really looking forward to hearing from Roland. And then we'll be passing to Sarah Thapper, Managing Director of the Migration Agency, one of Australia's international top migration agents, with her advice and review of that particular section of the market. Very, very pleased to have Sarah's expertise on this panel as well. Following that, we will actually be going live to Australia, to a number of different states and a number of different projects where our Australian property sales managers on site at the projects in Brisbane, Sydney, Perth and Melbourne will be bringing you live footage of the projects today, which is very exciting. And of course, following that, and to end, to bring the webinar to a close, we're going to have a good Q&A session. So anybody with any questions, no matter how trivial they may seem, please do put your questions to us, and we'll be very happy to answer them.
Yeah, and thank you, Robert, for our today the introduction of our agenda today. And we also mentioned to our Hong Kong audience watching our lives now, if they have any questions or inquiries, just feel free to comment in our comment box in our Facebook chat room, and we will collect them, and we will raise the question to you guys during our Q&A sections. Yep. Okay. So we are so excited because we just talk about today's webinar is very special because before normally all the live program we're doing focusing on one city or one specific projects, but as we know that Frasers Property is one of the biggest developers and real estate agents in Australia, and of course they have quite many worth to introduce the projects to our Hong Kong buyers. So that's why we're excited to introduce not only the project showcase, but also other relevant information to them, such as legal side or the migration side. Yeah. Thank you. So thank you, Robert. So what do you think about the Australian property in the 2001? Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great place to start. Thank you. And if you could just go to the next slide, I think it would be a really good opportunity to expand on your introduction of Frasers Property or Frasers Property Australia, because there's such a huge amount of history to our business. We have been developing property in Australia for over 90 years, and there's not a lot of developers around the world who could say that they've been developing property for that amount of time. So we have a huge history of experience and track record over Australia, over multiple markets in Australia. And Frasers Property Australia is part of the global Frasers Property Group. And Frasers Property globally is a multinational, multidiscipline developer. operating across 5 asset classes. So, of course, residential is a huge part of it, but we're also developing retail, commercial, business park assets, industrial assets, logistic and hospitality. So we are truly a multidisciplined operator and actually active in over 80 countries. And Australia is a huge and very, very important part of our business. We actually have 23 active projects in Australia right now, and you can see these on the visual, on the infographic on screen now. So we are operating in Queensland, Southeast Queensland, Brisbane, to be precise, down in New South Wales, Sydney and suburbs, Victoria, Melbourne focused, and in WA, Western Australia, focused around Perth. And as you see from the infographic, the majority of our business is residential developments. And we are a developer that builds property for generations, for families, for the domestic market, and to create communities.
Yep, thank you, Robert. And 頭先 Robert 啱啱同我哋都講咗啦，其實 Frasers Property 咧，其實佢即係都喺澳洲好多年啦，咁其實超過90年啦。咁啊，其實咧即係其實佢喺其實唔單止澳洲啦，其實佢好多地方都有佢個項目啊。咁但係如果我哋講喺澳洲嘅話咧，其實佢都即係而家都有都有超過23個嘅項目而家係進行緊啦。咁其實咧佢亦都咧提供咗超過16萬嘅即係房屋都俾即係俾買家㗎。咁其實而家見到咧，其實就係佢哋而家即係喺澳洲，其實喺見到都有唔同嘅省份啦，唔同嘅省份都有佢哋嗰個嘅項目啊。咁啊當然啦，其實唔單止係 residential 當然係佢哋好重要嘅一環啦。咁啊，但係其實唔單止 residential 嘅，即係其實佢哋嗰個喺零售啦，或者可能係個項目，其實佢都有包括咯。咁所以即係呢個都即係可以話俾大家聽，其實佢即係其實都係一直亦都係一個都好受到大家即係好信心嘅一個 developer， 同埋一個非常之有 reputation 咯。咁我哋其實可以加翻時間繼續交俾 Robert， 可以繼續同我哋去介紹咯。Over to you, Robert. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So let's take a look at the current status of the Australian market, which is very interesting to observe in this particular global climate. I think the first thing that we should look at is really putting the Australian residential market into context and how residential real estate underpins Australia's wealth as a whole. So as you will see from the slide, in terms of asset value, residential real estate accounts for 7 trillion Australian dollars. And that is in comparison to Australian superannuation, for example, which contributes $2.9 trillion. Australian listed stocks, so anything that you see on the markets, that's coming in at $2 trillion, and commercial real estate with $1 trillion. So this really shows you what a huge section of the market residential real estate represents, and that number relates to around about 10.5 million residential dwellings, residential units. Around 1.85% of that 7 trillion is debt. So that's around about 26% of total residential housing value is debt, which in comparison to other international markets is very low, any lower than 30%, and really that is a good sign. And at the moment, and certainly over the last 12 months, it's accounted of that sales, or the sales number per annum, accounts to around about 400,000 total sales per year, total transactions per year across the country. And that transaction volume in numbers translates to just short of 300 billion in terms of sales value per annum. So really to put the picture to you, to really explain how important residential real estate is versus other sources of Australian wealth, it's very plain to see from this slide. Next time, please.
Yep.
We really want to show you today how well the Australian residential market has rebounded after suffering a number of headwinds, as all international markets have done over the past 12 to 18 months. The Australian market has been incredibly resilient, certainly in comparison to markets like the US and the UK, markets in Europe, even markets in Asia itself. We look back now over the last 12 to 24 months, and the Aussie market residential market has been incredibly resilient. And actually right now what we're experiencing is the continuation of a recovery trend in housing values. And that's pretty much across the board, with the combined capitals in Australia, the state capitals, recording a value increase of just under 1% over the last quarter. And this is a trend that we see as ongoing. Certainly, this data was measured up until December of last year, but actually, anecdotally, our own experience in the market right now in Queensland, New South Wales, WA, and Victoria is that we are seeing activity levels higher than they've been in years for residential property. So we expect this trend to continue, certainly over the next 2 to 3 quarters. Next slide, please.
Yep.
Again, part of the recovery trend is quite plain to see when we measure the individual housing market, the individual cities on a annual and quarterly basis. So, housing markets in each of those cities have already entered a recovery trend, and 7 out of the 8 state capitals are recording and have recorded a rise in home values throughout the last quarter of 2020. Again, you can see on the ground now the activity that we are measuring, that we are seeing in each one of the developments that we are managing and that we're building into market. A huge increase in the amount of both domestic and also international inquiries. And that has been for a number of reasons. That have the Australian government has introduced some very sensible stimulus, some very sensible stimuli and good individual stimulus measures, which has encouraged the Australian domestic market to buy and sell property. And that has really underpinned and supported the growth in the property market that we've seen coming through really since the mid part of last year. And we're expecting that, as I say, to continue certainly over the next couple of quarters. So it's really a very stable picture in comparison to international markets at the moment. And most analysts will tell you that in terms of outlook, in terms of growth outlook for Australian residential over the next 3 to 4 quarters is positive. And in some cases, anywhere from 5 to 10% over that time period, which I think if you compare to other international markets is actually very, very attractive.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Robert, to talk about why Australian properties are being so attractive and play an important role in no matter is like Australian local market is our main source of the wealth. And no matter like during the COVID-19, like especially in the 2020, and we can see that the property price dropping is not that serious, like as when compared to other countries like US or other countries. So those figures that Robert just showed us to show that the confidence of the buyer like still in Australia. So that's why we can now see that the property price under the trend is going up and going to positive. And of course we can see there's a continuous increasing the demand and the pricing and the price in the 2021. Yep. Thank you, Robert, for sharing us today. And also, so what's next? Thank you, Robert. Yep. 係啦，咁我同大家都可以講翻啦。其實就係啱啱咧，Robert 同我哋講咗，就係點解澳洲其實佢嗰個 即係佢嗰個趨勢咧，或者可能係佢嗰個吸引力點解仲會喺度啦？咁其實佢由佢嗰個數字都話到俾我哋聽啦，就係其實喺澳洲嚟講啦，其實佢嗰個房地產行業咧係即係都係一個相當重要嗰個位置啊喺嗰度。咁尤其是就係喺嗰個住宅項目方面啦。咁其實住宅項目其實亦都佔咗好重嘅比例。咁其實雖然啦，頭先都有提到就係雖然舊年係有 COVID-19 啦，咁其實當然啦，環球嗰個市場其實都受到一定程度嘅影響。咁開頭咧其實都係有一啲即係下降，咁但係其實我由可能由舊年下半年開始啦，或者可能甚至就係由舊年即係 Q4 開始啦，咁其實佢嗰個即係升翻啲上嚟啊。咁所以其實咧佢嗰個吸引力嗰個位就係其實大家即係我相信都有好多其他嘅因素啦。咁其實咧即係佢呢個咁嘅即係升翻上嚟咧，其實亦都係代表咗咧，其實好多即係海外嘅買家或者係本地買家，其實佢嗰個信心都喺度嘅，即係因為就係有個需求咯。
只不過係疫情啦，咁但係住屋其實都係一個必須要嘅一個即係一樣嘢啦，係啦。咁所以同埋因為即係可能疫情關係啦，有機會即係可能嗰啲失業率啊，或者即係可能一啲本身係 local 嘅一啲住戶，佢哋都想可能搬去一個比較即係低成本就可以生活到嘅城市啦。咁可能佢哋自己本身當地人都會即係可能去其他省啊，去買一啲房產，即係唔單止係海外我哋即係海外人士嘅投資。
即係無論本地即係無論本地或者海外都係有需求啦。咁啊同埋其實頭先 Robert 都提到就係其實政府咧，其實佢都有好多嗰啲措施咧，其實去即係都係刺激翻嗰個樓市，同埋或者係幫到即係幫下啲買家。咁其實咧，我亦都其實過去嗰一大半年嚟咧，其實都聽到好多例話，可能喺澳洲政府可能即係最一個簡單嘅例子，就係維多利亞省啦。咁維多利亞省其實之前咧都同可能大家都睇我哋嘅直播咧都有講過，就係佢哋其實喺11月嗰陣時咧就提出咗就係佢嗰個印花稅咧，其實就係減半啦。咁其實咧即係其中呢個就係其中一個例子啦。咁啊其實可能有其他嘅即係其他嗰個措施啦，其實都係帶到出嚟，就係澳洲政府其實佢非常之重視即係呢個房產業啦。咁啊同埋亦都有好多嘅嘢佢都做出嚟，都希望可以去幫到呢一個嘅行業咯，同埋刺激翻佢樓市，即係唔好俾佢即係唔好即係因為呢個疫情而影響得太緊要啊。咁所以其實我哋即係都明白大家即係都可能都好關心啦。其實我如果即係情況我哋香港朋友啦，其實又即係大家都會知道就係嗰個尤其是澳洲政府佢都有放寬咗移民條例。咁其實大家都即刻都會去諗啦。我投資又好，移民又好，咁其實都係一個即係澳洲都係大家一個經常都會我如果我想即係住一個地方生活，或者可能我要投資嘅，可能都會諗起澳洲咯。
係啦，咁所以可能好多時我哋去移民啊，或者移民啊，或者可能投資嘅話，都會涉及到好多即係可能法律嘅問題啦。即係可能因為始終我哋人生路不熟啊，即係可能如果去到嗰邊應該揾邊一啲人去幫手咧，或者有啲乜嘢係需要即係去到法律嗰邊嘅一啲顧問去幫我哋處理咧。咁我哋接住落嚟都有一位嘉賓就上嚟同我哋傾下偈啦。咁同埋頭先都啱啱見到有觀眾就問有冇近即係可能係海岸區嘅一啲項目啦。咁係有嘅，咁所以就 keep 住留意我哋之後咧，因為我哋完咗呢2 part 嘅講座之後咧，咁我哋就會有一個即係唔同地方嘅房產項目介紹啦，係啦，咁可以密切留意嘅。好，
我哋介紹呢個嘉賓先。咁啊嘉賓咧 Roland 咧，其實識大家講廣東話嘅，係啦。咁其實咧，大家頭先都有提過啦，就係即係啱啱我哋當晚都講咗，其實澳洲點解都用，但係大家對澳洲嘅即係對澳洲個國家啦、城市啦，佢個即係個房產咧都好有信心啊。咁其實講真，如果去到買樓啦，或者係點咧，點都係一定要經過法律嘅問題，或者可能係即係 legal 啊、contract 嗰啲。咁所以其實我哋即係今日咧就即係邀請到 Roland 同我哋去即係講解多啲咯。Hello Roland。
係，你好。
Hello，交手介紹下你自己先啊。
咁我係 Roland，馬拉華僑。咁我啲廣東話咧講到走少少音咧，千祈唔好介意啦嚇。
唔介意。
喺澳洲都做律師都成20幾年啦。咁大部分都係代表外埠嘅投資者啦。 唔止香港、馬拉、新加坡、印尼都會有啦。咁佢哋平時碰到啲問題、擔心啲嘢，我哋都比較了解啦。同本地嘅投資者就有少少唔同嘅諗法啦。咁我哋啲投資者咧都唔止投資澳洲啦，有其他國家，咁我都可以了解下少少唔同國家嘅法律嘅分別啦。咁今日就講翻澳洲咯。
係，咁因為我都知道咧，其實佢即係大家買樓啦，即係成日講即係大家都 keep 住講隔山買牛，隔山買牛。咁啊，始終我哋即係香港買樓嗰個程序同澳洲係真好相似，不過係總係有啲唔同㗎。咁啊，大家即係有時即係始終又唔係尤其是今年或者呢2年啦，都未必飛到過去澳洲嘅話咧，其實當我哋去買嗰時，即係法律上個問題，當然大家都會非常之注意啊。咁所以其實咧，阿 Rowan 同我哋講，即係講下究竟有啲咩注意嘅地方，或者可能我哋而家即係喺澳洲買樓嘅話，因為可能有一啲朋友咧就都比較熟悉啦，因為 keep 住有留意開。咁但係我哋都有啲新朋友都好想知道，其實喺澳洲買樓究竟啲乜嘢我哋係需要注意嘅，或者係有啲乜嘢嘅建議可以你俾到我哋大家咯。
好。OK， 咁我開始啦。
係，唔該晒。
OK。All right， so 投資喺澳洲咧，第一樣嘢需要了解咧，就係佢係有聯邦政府同埋州政府嘅，咁佢哋嘅 focus 同埋佢哋啲例有少少唔同嘅。咁聯邦政府嗰方面咧，就譬如話外埠嘅投資者咧，總之係冇澳洲身份咧，就需要經過呢個叫 FIRB approval， 咁先可以投資嘅。咁每個州咧都會有佢自己嘅手續啊，同埋啲例。咁好多時有少少唔同啦，但係最緊要咧，有啲嘢係全澳洲都係一樣嘅啲例。咁呢個咧今日我係講翻其中一個啦，呢個我覺得係最重要嘅。呢個 feature 同其他國家譬如話英國、香港、馬來西亞波咧就完全唔同嘅。同埋呢個 feature 就可以話我碰到咁多買家最擔心咧，平時係兩樣嘢。第一咧就驚爛尾嘅情況啦，爛尾貨情況啦。咁另外咧就擔心學你話齋隔山買牛啊嘛，驚發展商執笠點好。所以呢個係兩個最擔心嘅問題啦。咁 OK 咁。但係澳洲就有呢個 feature， 就你可以話呢個淨係呢一個 feature 可以話解決咗大部分呢啲問題啦。咁呢個 feature 就係佢有一個付款嘅方法咧，就係 1090， 即是話你擺訂金開始買簽咗嗰陣時擺個訂金，之後等到收樓先俾個 balance 嘅90%，中間段時間你係唔需要供啊，唔需要俾其他錢嘅，就類似係啦，類似 cash on delivery 啦，呢個貨到付款咁嘅方法嚟做嘢啦。所以呢個就我可以話全澳洲嘅最重要嘅 property 嘅 feature 就係呢個 feature。OK， 麻煩你可以 next slide 睇下。係 OK， 咁依家講翻個 general procedure 啦。咁開始簽個約啦。同埋最尾就係收樓嗰陣時啦，咁開始投呢個10%啦。OK， 咁呢筆錢咧就訂金咧就擺喺發展商律師嘅信託戶口嘅。咁呢筆錢咧發展商係唔可以喐嘅，唔可以掂，唔可以攞嚟用嘅。到收樓為止啦，變咗係啲買家擔心話發展商執笠點好啊？呢樣嘢係唔使驚，因為個錢咧發展商冇掂過嘅，係發展商真係執笠嚟講啊。你嗰個一般嚟講係發展商執笠咧，就會出現個會計師，我哋叫 liquidator， 咁佢嘅工作就盡量儲翻多啲錢俾啲銀行，但係個訂金咧唔係屬於發展商噶嘛。咁呢個訂金包括埋訂金當時賺到啲利息咧，都其實係要退翻俾個買家嘅。
係，呢個情況都有啲相似啦。因為香港我哋買樓咧，其實都係都會經即係律師做中間人啦。咁其實我哋所有嗰啲 deposit 啦、大訂啦，即係香港要大訂啦，其實所有嘅錢咧都係會喺即係去咗個律師行度先嘅，即係嗰個即係好似你話而家嗰個信託戶口，即係個 trust 嗰個 account。 咁佢真係去到最後真係settlement 啦，真係去做去收樓啦，咁其實咧先會呢嚿錢咧先會由個 trust account 咧就轉去俾，即係就當然啦係買即係俾錢個即係買家 approve 咗啦，律師都睇過晒冇問題啦，咁之後先再係會將錢俾翻即係俾交付俾嘅發展商嗰度咯，係啦。
係啦，所以但係中間嗰段時間咧就唔需要俾任何 progress payment， 呢個就另外一個 feature， 因為好多時係有 progress payment 咧，啲發展商起到某啲地步咧，佢就可以 access 嗰筆錢啊嘛。咁喺澳洲呢個1090咧，佢起到一半都好，佢唔可以掂任何其他錢嘅，所以呢個就比較特別啲，變咗呢個情況變咗個發展商咧係唔會專登拖時間，因為佢完全冇利益嘅，反正佢起得越快越好啦。但係佢起得幾快都好啦。始終收樓之前咧，發展商一定要俾到兩樣嘢啦。第一咧就係嗰張地契一定要係出咗，要 register 咗。另外咧個入伙紙都係要出咗。咁我哋得到呢兩樣嘢，我哋先會交易嘅。所以呢個係其中一個少啲手尾跟咯，咁做法。咁另外咧，大部分啲州咧喺澳洲咧都係永久業權嘅契嘅，所以我哋會見到嗰張契同埋個入伙紙，我哋先會去交易咯。咁中間就冇交換錢，就比較secure 啲，係啦。
係，咁呢個其實咧都見到就係即係比較保護買家多少少啊，即係其實你話即係10即係點講啊10%，即係10、90呢一個啦，咁啊10當然就係嗰個 deposit 啦，咁啊其實就佢嗰個90就係到最後真係收樓嗰陣時先嗰個即係最後最大個 down payment 咯，係啦。係，咁我想問下，其實咧即係如果我哋真係去即係有香港朋友想買澳洲嘅樓啦，咁啊首先第一樣嘢，咁佢會揾律師嘅話，咁其實當然梗係即係揾翻即係相熟啦，或者可能係有翻咁上下經驗啦，就好似 Rowan 你咁啦，即係揾翻你幫我哋做即係同香港嘅朋友去做一個嘅嗰個手續，咁所以其實即係有冇啲咩建議可以俾到香港買家，即係例如話，佢除咗啱啱頭先你講嘅即係嗰個即係注意事項之外咧，咁其實有啲乜嘢，例如話可能喺個合約上面都係要注意下嘅咧。
或者你可能你有咁多年經驗啦，有冇一啲即係可能經驗之談可以分享下俾我哋香港嘅觀眾咧？
咁海外買家咧，其實點講咧？澳洲呢方面啊，就比較 transparent 啲，即是話佢唔會話一般嚟講啦，唔會話有兩個價錢啊，因為好多啲買家直情可以打個電話俾朋友就可以 check 清楚呢樣嘢，所以澳洲啲做法就比較正常啲，比較 normal 啲。條件嗰方面咧就要睇個律師咯，因為我哋第一樣嘢會注意咧就係呢份合約有乜嘢同平時嚟講有咩唔同嘅。譬如話有啲買賣就依家就開始唔俾啲 Airbnb 啲 short stay 啦，咁都係要同個買家講一聲，因為有可能佢哋嘅投資嘅諗法係唔同，所以就要呢啲細啲嘅條件就要注意咯。有啲淨係買地嚟起樓要打算，譬如話有啲人打算話我將來要間開2間添，嗰啲就要睇翻嗰個 property 俾唔俾你咁做咯。所以呢啲就到時候我哋同個買家斟咗之後，發覺都有呢個打算定係咩，我哋先再解釋咯。
明白，咁其實咧都聽阿 Rowan 咁講啦，即係其實咧即係由你嘅客戶啦，由即係你同接觸你嘅客戶開始啦，即係其實由唔單止淨係收佢錢擺喺個 trust account，或者幫你準備份合約你簽啦，其實你好多頭先聽你咁講，其實有好多建議啦，或者好多你會問得好清楚，就係其實你有冇咁做啊，或者可能其實呢一個合約或者呢個項目上面有啲需要注意嘅地方，即係你話可能買塊地或者可能買個 apartment， 其實係唔俾你間好似劏房咁間出嚟嘅，
可能要睇翻嗰一個項目嘅有冇咩特別要求啦，或者可能你買地起樓同買 apartment 又唔同。
係啊，咁所以即係透過 Rowan 頭先咁講，就係其實即係你哋律師事務所啦，其實係基本上係除咗 即係除咗去準備呢個合約啦，即係 operation 啦，但係其實所有嗰啲建議咧，其實都會一條龍服務，都係會幫到個買家咯，因為都知道其實佢哋喺香港啦，其實都可能都比較擔心，同埋可能有好多都係需要即係 Rowan 你哋去幫手，就係即係 remind 多啲啊，做多啲 reminder 依嘢到時候要咁做啦，到時係咁做啦，呢啲要注意啦。咁我相信其實即係令到即係買家安心啲咯。
同埋始終同聲同氣啦，咁可能溝通上面啊都會比較方便啲咯。即係有啲咩可以表達得更加直接係。
係明白。咁所以其實如果香港朋友啦，其實如果大家都即係都有呢個即係考慮去喺澳洲買樓啦，或者可能喺法律上面亦都係有任何問題或者需要諮詢嘅話咧，其實都歡迎咧可以留言俾我哋啦。咁其實咧我哋都非常之樂意可以咧即係介紹大家問題係啦，同埋介紹 Rowan 俾大家嘅。係
啦，同埋我哋都將即係嘅嘉賓資料咧，都有一個 general 嘅 contact，我哋會擺喺 Facebook 嘅 comment box 嘅。咁如果大家有咩可能深入啲嘅問題想問佢哋咧，除咗可以喺 comment box 度留言，都可以直接聯絡佢哋啦。
好，今日就唔該晒 Rowan 先啦。好，唔該晒。係啦，今日啱啱咧就Rowan 同我哋講咗即係法律上嗰個問題啦。咁呢個就關於比較買樓啊。咁啊咧，我嚟緊咧就同大家講下，大家都其中一個非常之關心嘅問題。咁大家點解要買樓咧？除咗投資之外，就係諗住移居啦。咁移居嘅話咧，其實即係澳洲嗰個即係移民條例，其實每一年咧，可能大家都有少少發覺就通常7月都係會有啲轉啦，或者可能其實係佢尤其是舊年啦，其實都有好多放寬嘅，即係放寬咗嘅嗰個移民政策都有唔同啦。咁同埋之前如果真係有留意開嘅話，其實都知道即係嗰個 visa 咧，其實都係有好多款嘅唔同嘅，即係可能投資又有幾種啊，或者可能即係可能佢哋唔同嘅門檻啊，亦都有唔同啊。咁同埋其實我哋嚟緊究竟今年有啲乜嘢嘅新嘅 update 咧？咁其實我哋咧嚟緊咧都會介紹位嘉賓出嚟咧，就係喺移民顧問公司㗎。咁其實佢都會同我講下澳洲嘅移民佢嗰個而家個政策最新 update 啦，同埋其實佢而家
方法係啦，等等
好，我哋介紹出嚟先。
Hello Sarah。
Hello. Yep. Okay. So Sarah is a
managing director from the migration agency.
Yep. So would you like to say hello to our Hong Kong audience and introduce a bit yourself?
Sure. Well, hello everyone. It's great to be here with you today. I'm thrilled to have a few minutes to talk to you about the opportunities to invest and migrate to Australia. So just a little bit about me. I'm an immigration lawyer, as well as the managing director of the migration agency. We're a national immigration firm, a full service immigration firm, and we've got quite a strong investment migration practice. And we work closely with Frasers on helping to facilitate clients in investment migration strategies through, a range of investments in asset classes. So I will be talking you through today some of the benefits of migrating to Australia.
Yeah. So why will we invest in Australia?
Well, Australia is a very attractive destination for investor migrants, and I'm sure anyone listening to this webinar today will have a reasonable understanding of the attraction of Australia. But from my perspective, from an immigration point of view, there are certainly some advantages in choosing Australia as an investment destination. Certainly holding investments in Australia does help facilitate travel here, and there are certain visas such as the business visitor visa that one can apply for longer durations than your usual visitor visas if you are holding, inspecting and managing your investment properties here. Investment activity is a requirement for our business and investment visas, the subclass 188888, which some people may be familiar with. And through investment, there are pathways towards permanent residency in that program, currently after 4 years, although there are to be some changes shortly where that may be reduced to 3, which is great. And then upon obtaining permanent residency in Australia, that obviously affords some significant benefits. So things like access to our world-class healthcare system, social security, outstanding education, free education, and also the right to remain in Australia indefinitely. So permanent residence is quite attractive, and so those who are investing in Australia are often interested to know how they can work towards a permanent residency outcome. And then Australian citizenship is also possible after residing in Australia for 5 years, some of which is as a permanent resident. So I thought I'd just give a quick overview of the sorts of visas that would be of interest to an investor. This is by no means a comprehensive overview of all visas to Australia, but these are just the key ones that we look at when speaking with investors. So the first one is the business visitor visa. So as I mentioned, owning property in Australia is obviously requires travel to Australia to inspect and manage property. And so, one could apply for a business visitor visa of up to a year to facilitate investment interests here. For skilled visas, there are some advantages to owning property. State and regional skilled visa programs usually require a period of Australian residence. And there are even some state programs that afford points for property investment. The Business Innovation and Investor Visa is for those individuals who are looking to migrate not through their skills, but more through their, experience investing in businesses or other types of investments. And so most states also require additional investments above and beyond the main investment in, say, business or in other bonds or investment funds, and that can be met through property investment. So it can form part of a client's overall investment strategy, looking at real estate. And then there's the new Global Talent Visa, which is a pretty exciting area for us at the moment because it's a fast-track pathway to PR. There's been a lot of buzz about this visa because it's creating permanent residency outcomes so quickly, sometimes in a matter of weeks. And that's targeted towards individuals who, either as an employee or as a business owner, have a record of achievement in certain target sectors, such as I've listed here, agtech, space, advanced manufacturing, fintech, medtech, cybersecurity, and so on. So this is also an opportunity for people who've been running businesses in these areas to be able to, pursue a global talent visa and then potentially invest in Australia. So obviously immigration is highly impacted by COVID. And so I thought I'd just share some insight into what's happening on that front. Because Australia is taking a cautious approach to COVID and has implemented measures to restrict travel to and from Australia to minimise the health risk to Australia. However, there have been some important announcements from the Australian government which have confirmed that they are keen to prioritise and keep Australia as an attractive destination for investment. So some of the things that they've announced are that the 188 visa holders are exempt from the COVID travel ban. Now that's quite significant because currently it's Australian citizens and permanent residents who are exempt from the travel ban and able to travel to Australia. But this means that investor visa holders are also entitled to travel to and from Australia without the need to obtain an exemption. So it's a recognition that there is an important benefit to Australia in facilitating investment here, and that an investor would need to be able to come and manage their business or manage their investments even during the pandemic. The Business Innovation Investment Visa Program, which are the business visas and investor visas, have been flagged for priority processing. So the government is looking to speed up its assessments of these visas so that people will get outcomes quicker and will be able to make their investments more quickly. There's also been an announcement about increasing the number of places for investor visa migrants. So there's a set allocation that's given each year. And this year there's 13,500 places for the IIP visa applicants, which is a significant uptake. So again, it goes to show how the government is prioritising this program and seeking to attract more foreign investment to Australia. There's also been some concessions offered for those visa holders, those people on investor visas who may have been impacted by COVID and may not be able to meet the stringent criteria for permanent residency under the business or investor visa pathway. So there are leniencies available, and that again is also quite important to continue to make the program viable for investors. Can't be punitive if someone can't travel due to COVID or their business has been impacted by the pandemic and there's been a downturn in their business that may not disqualify them from their permanent residency after managing their investments for the qualifying period. So there are just a few insights into how, despite COVID, we are still seeing quite a lot of activity in the investment migration space. So here's an overview of the Residence by Investment or the Business Innovation and Investment Visa Program, which Australia has on offer. It's been a fairly complex program with 9 different types of visas, each with their own criteria. That's going to be streamlined from the 1st of July. So there will effectively be 4 visa streams available. So there's the 188A, which is more focused on people looking to invest in a business in Australia. The 188B is for your investor that just looks to make investments here in bonds and then other potential investments. The significant investor visa and then the entrepreneur visa will also remain in place for those looking to develop their innovative idea here and are nominated by state or territory government. There's going to be a removal of the direct PR visa for investors. So the 132 visa is going to be removed from the 1st of July. So there's a limited period of time to pursue that between now and 1st of July. So what that means is that going forward, the Australian program will require investors to hold qualifying investments for a period of 3 years. And then after that, they can get their PR. And that'll be the same across all of those streams. Now, what types of investments can you hold? That is prescribed, and each state, but it's prescribed by the Australian government, and then each state has their own additional criteria that they can apply. So it's worth noting that state by state, the investment criteria can vary. And so depending on someone's particular, interests in terms of the state they wish to migrate to or their appetite for different types of investments, that can determine the investment migration strategy that we move forward with. But many states do require that the investor establish residence in Australia. Some require that they purchase property, or some require that they just simply make additional investments or transfer additional assets to that state, and those criteria can be met through acquiring residential property. So I'm also happy to take any questions if there are some about the investment migration program in Australia.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And just want to ask you a question, like what type of investment visa that your overseas client normally take, and the higher chance or higher successful rate for them to get the permanent residence visa?
It's a good question. And I mean, different clients are in different circumstances. So it would very much depend on the circumstances of the client as to which pathway they would pursue. But typically the 188A visa is attractive for someone who's got a strong track record in running businesses and is confident in running a business in Australia to meet the qualifying criteria for PR. Running a business in Australia, it's a different environment than, another market. So, that may or may not suit someone's investment appetite. The 188B investor visa, someone can qualify for that through either having successfully managed business or through having held and actively managed other types of investments before, such as investment properties. So this is a very popular stream, and it allows people to invest in government bonds, which are obviously, there's a lot of published data around the yield on government bonds. It's a $1.5 million investment in government bonds. And so that does suit some investors. And there are often additional investment requirements state by state. So within that, a typical situation might be investing in bonds, purchasing a residence, or purchasing, residential property, or making other types of investments to achieve the overall level of investment required for the visa. The significant investor visa requires a $5 million investment. So it's probably not as popular as the investor visa because of the level of investment, but it certainly has its advantages because there are some criteria that are not that are applied for the investor visa that aren't for the significant investor visa. So you don't necessarily have to have a track record of running businesses or investments for the significant investor visa. The entrepreneur visa, we've seen an uptake on that lately. There are some major changes, though, to the qualifying requirements. So there will no longer be this requirement for a $200,000 venture capital funding agreement, and it will rather require state or government validation that your innovative idea is going to bring substantial benefit to their state. So that's quite a reworking of that program. So I think it remains to be seen how popular that will be. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the popularity of the various visas there.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And it seems to me that it really depends on different person or different backgrounds or level of investment. But normally people would take 188A and a 188B, those two investment visas. And I believe if our Hong Kong investors or Hong Kong buyers, if they have any further inquiries, I believe that Sarah is more than happy to answer their specific questions. So let us remind again here, if you have any questions about the migration or different kinds of the visa, and if you really don't know what you require or what you qualify, just let us know, and we will refer to Sarah. Yep.
係啦，咁其實大家如果有任何問題，即係可能關於頭先就係講到即係移民啦，或者有啲咩 program 係適合即係海外人士啦，即係除咗香港人之外，咁咧大家都好歡迎可以喺我哋 comment box 度留言啦，或者就係我哋 comment box 入邊咧都有今日即係呢個直播嘅一個 general 嘅 contact 啦，咁都好歡迎咧直接聯絡佢哋了解更多嘅。
Yep. So thank you, Sarah, today for sharing us so much information about the migration and different kinds of the visa. And we will see you next time.
Yeah. Many thanks.
Thank you. 係。咁我同大家咧，其實啱啱喺即係第一個部分啦，同大家其實都即係都了解咗，其實澳洲其實佢嗰個即係房產嗰個環境市況啦，咁係喺2020年點啦，同埋其實2021年咁啊點啦，其實我哋都知道，其實都有個即係都係大家都有個信心都喺度嘅，係啦，不過純粹都係即係 COVID-19 嘅影響啦。咁其實我哋都見到嚟緊，即係 Robert 都頭先同我哋講，其實嚟緊佢都會見到一個繼續持續會上升啦。咁之後我哋都同大家都講其實如果大家即係海外買樓嘅話，其實有啲咩法律嘅問題啊？咁之後嚟頭先啱啱 Sarah 同我哋咧都講咗，其實而家如果係投資移民嘅話咧，其實究竟有邊幾？因為其實好多頭先見到咗，即係好多 number 啦，有好多 ABCDE 啦，咁其實好多款啦。咁其實我都明白，即係大家都希望可以頭先透過個即係非常之清晰個表咧，希望都可以俾到一個基本嘅資訊大家。究竟其實你有啲咩揀啦？咁同埋當然啦，咁即係每個人都有自己唔同嘅意願或者係唔同嘅 requirement 啦。咁所以其實如果有啲乜嘢咧，其實你都可以直接聯絡翻我哋啦，咁或者留 comment box 啦。 啦，同埋或者可能係聯絡翻即係 Frasers 嘅 general contact， 咁我相信佢哋咧都係非常之樂意咧，去將大家嗰個即係疑問咧，可以俾翻即係唔同嘅專家去解答咯。
係啊，一直以嚟咧，可能香港人咧其實都有投資海外房產啦，因為都覺得買磚頭比較保值啲。無論係自住啊、投資啊，或者可能屋企係要移居啊等等啦。咁頭先講到，其實 Roland 有提到就話澳洲其實買樓都係對海外人士有一個保障啦，即係唔需要話太過擔心可能爛尾啊，或者即係等等啦。因為其實可能澳洲政府佢對呢一方面嘅一個政策都其實係對嗰個買家係有一定嘅保障嘅。咁所以其實接住落嚟咧，我哋都有即係5個喺唔同省份嘅 project 想介紹俾大家啦。咁第一個咧就會係頭先有位觀眾就話有冇近海岸㗎？咁其實呢一個咧就會係比較近河畔啲嘅項目嚟嘅。咁但係咧即係今日即係時間有限啦，咁 Frasers 就帶咗5個 project 俾我哋。但係其實頭先都講到其實佢哋而家係成個澳洲都有差唔多20幾個係 active 嘅項目啦。咁所以大家如果有任何即係可能其他嘅需求，或者你更加已經好清楚自己想住邊一區嘅話，其實都好歡迎就係聯絡佢哋，直接可以係了解更加多嘅項目嘅。咁但係我哋而家就先去今日介紹嘅第一個項目先啦。
好。
Okay. Hello, Sally.
Hello, Sally.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
Good.
That's good. That's fantastic.
Would you like to introduce yourself and where are you in Australia now? And which project that you're going to introduce to our audience?
Absolutely. So my name is Sally Ho, and I am live from our Hamilton Reach sales display here in Brisbane. Hamilton Reach, it's an established and award-winning community. It's located between the Brisbane River and the Royal Queensland Golf Club. We are right in between the middle. And what you see here in the screen is our master plan community. We're very close to the city. We are only 6 kilometres to the Brisbane CBD. We're 5 kilometres to the Brisbane domestic and international airports, and also only 3 kilometres away from the Gateway Motorway, which leads you to the southern Gold Coast and also the Sunshine Coast. So access to some of the best beaches here in Australia. Hamilton Reach, it offers a really beautiful lifestyle, river precinct lifestyle, and is actually in a flood-free zone. Also, with regards to COVID and the impact of our market here, it's actually had a positive effect. Thank you to many of the home builders grants and government incentives. But Queensland consistently every year for the past 10 years has had the highest interstate migration. The way that we have the nice hot weather, sunshine state, and we are seeing quite a lot of residents that are moving from the southern states and other states into Queensland, most particularly southeast Queensland and in here in Brisbane. Hamilton Reach has been an established community here since 2012. So we've had many families living here for the past 10 years, nearly 10 years. And so far we have about 700 families living here. Now the latest stage that I will be talking to you about today is Riverlight North. And Riverlight North is this building right here, just behind Riverlight East, which is already completed. Riverlight North is a boutique building. It's 85 apartments and it's due for completion in 3 months. So this is a perfect timing for anyone that's looking to purchase. Just a little bit about the building. It consists of a good selection. So we have 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and also 2 amazing penthouses with the most amazing views over the Queensland Golf Course. The price ranges are fantastic. It's 1 bedrooms from 422,500, 2 bedrooms with 1 bathroom starting at 517,000, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath from 530, and 3 bedroom apartments starting from 750,000. The penthouses, we have 2, as I mentioned. They are 3 bedrooms with a multi-purpose room, and they start from 1.55 million. Every single apartment in this building has at least 1 car park, so it's really good value for money. As I mentioned before, the expected completion date is April 2021, in about 3 months' time. Now, today we have a very, very special offer for our viewers today. And we understand that majority of our viewers are overseas, you are foreign buyers, and we wanted to say thank you for considering our project. We would love to provide for you a 5% rental guarantee for the first 12 months from settlement. Right now in this whole community, we are at 0% vacancy, meaning that all of our investment properties have tenants, and we also have a wait list of tenants that are waiting for Riverlight North to settle. A part of our incentives, 5% rental guarantee for 12 months. We are also paying for your FIRB application fee, as well as providing roller blinds. You don't have to worry about roller blinds, and the apartments are ready for tenants to move in. But the most fantastic incentive of all is Frasers will reimburse your 7% AFAB tax, and that is a rebate upon settlement. So giving you really good incentives there, and thank you. Now, very quickly, I'm going to grab the camera and show you exactly how close we are to Brisbane River. So it won't be a moment.
Thank you, Sally.
And I'll just take you for a little journey. No problem, just take you for a little slow journey. If you have any friends or families in Brisbane, please let me know. We're more than happy to welcome them to our display and take them for a little walk around. And as you can see here, hopefully you can see properly, is the river. So we've got the river right there. And these are just some of the parklands that we have here. There's a lot of beautiful trees, but we have about 2.5 hectares of parklands. So hopefully if you have friends, again, if you have friends and family, we'd love for you to let us know, and more than happy to take you through. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
係，或者同大家都講下啦。其實咧，佢呢一個咧就喺 Queensland 啦。咁其實佢呢一個項目咧就係 Riverlight North 啦。咁其實喺 Queensland 度。咁其實啱啱頭先啊 Vanessa 話，其實現場觀眾有冇河畔啊嗰啲，咁係啱啱咧 Sally 咧，即係都同我哋即係都 show 到，其實佢喺嗰個項目嘅，即係喺置身於當地啦。其實咧一影出去咧，其實就係一條河。咁當然啦，咁我哋始終即係
布里斯班河啦，因為係啦，呢個項目就喺 Queensland 啦。咁所以其實即係每一日都可以即係陽光普照啦，同埋即係天氣都係好好嘅。
係，咁其實我都同大家講翻啦。咁其實咧就即係呢一個喺Queensland 呢個Hamilton Reach 咧呢一個嘅項目嘅話咧，其實佢一房咧就係40幾萬，即係我講澳紙啦，40幾萬澳紙起啦，兩房咧就係50幾萬澳紙起，咁三房咧就係75萬澳紙起。咁當然啦，亦都有 penthouse， 咁當然有其他嘅即係唔同嘅價錢啦。咁其實大家有興趣嘅話咧，其實亦都可以咧即係留言翻我哋或者聯絡翻 Frasers 啦。咁啊，另外咧，其實佢呢一個項目咧，其實佢就喺2021年，即係大概4月嗰時，佢就會完成㗎啦。咁佢咧每一個單位亦都有車位啦。咁當然啦，咁我哋今日即係呢個直播，其實佢哋即係 Frasers 都非常之有心啊。咁喺呢個直播咧，亦都有一啲嘅即係優惠可以俾到大家。咁啊，其實佢嘅優惠咧，其實咧就係佢係有一個嘅，即係如果租務啦，其實佢有一個保證咧，就係5%，即係喺即係一年裏邊係啦，有5%嘅。咁啊頭嗰12個月啦，咁啊之後咧，咁佢嗰個佢有啲即係稅務嘅 rebate 啦。咁譬如話 AFAD 嘅話，其實佢有7% rebate 啦。咁同埋其實可能大家如果即係去買澳洲樓，其實都知道咧，其實除咗印花稅之外咧，其實亦都有一個叫做 FIRB 嘅申請費。咁其實就係for海外買家，如果佢係要去買項目嘅話，或者係買即係呢個澳洲項目嘅話，其實需要係根據翻佢嗰個物業佢嗰個唔同嘅價錢，亦都要俾翻唔同即係唔同價錢嘅 FIRB 嗰個價錢嘅，即係嗰個呢個嘅一個叫稅項啊，或者可能叫手續費啦，或者申請費啦。咁其實呢一樣嘢咧，其實就 Frasers 佢就會幫你俾埋嘅，係啦，即係當然即係呢一個係佢優惠咯。咁所以其實 即係大家如果有興趣嘅話咧，都可以聯絡翻我哋咯。咁呢一個啱啱同大家講咧，就喺 Queensland 嘅項目啦。咁嚟緊我哋係咩項目咧 ，Vanessa？
接住落嚟咧，另一個咧就係叫做Queens Riverside 啦。
係啦。咁 Queens Riverside 咧，其實咧就係喺我哋即係啱啱我哋去完 Queensland 啦，我哋即刻轉去由我哋去東岸轉去西岸啦。我哋而家去西邊啦。咁西邊就係啦。咁我哋而家 Perth 我哋就請另外一位即係嘉賓上嚟啦。咁佢就Andrea 啦，係啦。Hello Andrea。
Hello, how you going? My name is Andrea Vucic. I'm presenting live from Western Australia, so thank you very much for having the time to listen. I'd like to present to you our Queens Riverside apartments located in prime blue chip location in the heart of East Perth. Our project consists of 3 towers, so 500 apartments in total, 40 hectares of space, and located around our Frasers Suites Hotel, obviously famous. We've got it in 86 countries. So Tower 3 is completely sold out. Tower 2, only 2 apartments remaining. And Tower 1, we've just released 7 levels high. And we're boasting views to the south of the iconic Swan River, to the west, the CBD skyline, to the north, the beautiful Queens Botanic Gardens, and then to the east we have the new Optus Stadium as well as Crown Casino. It's connected by a footbridge to East Perth. So, in terms of location and where we are, we're only 9 kilometres to the airport, within 2 kilometres of shopping and amenity. Transport, there's buses on your doorstep, the East Perth train line as well as the gateway to the Perth CBD, where obviously the commercial district is. We have reputable neighbouring high school and primary schools, again only within 850 metres. And we also have the Curtin University, which is 7.1 kilometres, and the University of Western Australia, a very popular one here, only 7.9 kilometres away. So we say, why Perth? Obviously, we've been very well and very fortunate in the COVID times. The government has assisted by putting forward grants. We've also done very well in mining, obviously the prices of iron ore and gold. Now, we've had the lowest vacancy rate that we've had in 13 years, which is below 1%. They are saying these times are potentially similar to the mining boom that we did have. There's projected 12% increases in property prices. And pre-COVID, we actually had a pretty low investment cycle. But what that means is that we have a shortage of rental properties. So idea is purchase now, try and capitalise on that, the pre-price rise. Damien Collins, who is president of REWA, has suggested there'll be a 10 to 15% in rental growth, and we are starting to see that. So what have we got on offer today for you? We have 1-bedroom apartments starting from $322,000 with car base. We have 2-bedroom apartments starting from $532,000, and we have 1 remaining 3-bedroom apartment with the Swan River views, $830,000. So what can we offer? We have our rental guarantees, 12 months at 5%. We can exempt you from the foreign investor application fee, which is a saving of approximately $5,000. And then we will also pay your foreign investor 7% further tax. So that would obviously be rebated at settlement. Now, the only other things as well is we've got integrated dishwashers, there's dryers. They do come with fridges and freezers, and they do come with blinds. So again, savings when you purchase your investment property. That's really all from us here at the Minute in WA. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for listening. And if I can assist further, please let me know. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. Yep. 同大家都講下啦，其實啱啱咧，其實 Andrea 同我哋咧講咧就係就係即係西澳啦 Perth 咧其中一個項目啊。咁其實佢個項目咧就係 Queens Riverside。咁啊 Queens Riverside 咧其實咧即係都係一個我叫河畔。都係啦。咁同埋咧，頭先都聽阿 Andrea 講，其實佢哋個銷情都非常之好啊。其實佢咧個 Tower 1已經係買晒，咁其實而家 Tower 2咧，其實咧都剩翻都唔係剩翻好多個嘅 apartment 啦。
係因為始終地少啦，仲要喺即係河畔隔離嘅地亦都唔多啦。咁其實係呢一個項目已經係喺 Queens 即係嗰個河濱區最後一個 即係公
同埋
寓
high end 啲咯，
係
都係一啲
嘅樓嘅項目啦，係
啦。咁同埋即係雖則我頭先都係即係呢個係一個 luxury apartment 啦。咁啊，但係其實即係大家都可能知道，即係其實唔同嘅即係即係喺澳洲唔同嘅城市咧，佢嗰個房價咧其實都係有少少唔同㗎。咁啊，其實頭先我哋咧同大家講咗嗰個咧喺 Queensland 啦，咁其實就40幾萬起啦，50幾萬、70幾萬，即係唔同，即係1、2番房啦。咁其實而家即係咧，而家 Perth 呢個咧，佢個價錢咧，其實亦都係有啲唔同㗎。咁啊 Perth 一房價錢咧，大概咧就係由30幾萬澳紙起啦。咁啊兩房咧就係50幾萬，即係50幾萬至60幾萬。咁所以其實你會見到其實佢嗰個咧嗰個 price range 係有啲唔同㗎。咁所以咧即係大家即係可能即係豐儉由人啦，或者可能大家都睇下大家嗰個即係講真買樓最實際係大家 budget。大家想喺邊度住？咁其實呢一樣嘢，其實都希望可以俾多啲參考大家。咁當然啦，咁啊呢一個喺即係喺個 Perth 嗰個項目咧，其實都係有佢嗰個，即係因為今日我哋即係直播啦，咁啊所以其實都係有啲即係特別嘅優惠㗎。咁其實咧都係有嗰個即係租金嗰個保證啦，其實12個月。
係1年5%嘅。
係啦，咁啊咧同埋即係但係呢一個優惠咧，呢個保證咧就係去到即係2021年嘅4月30號啦。咁所以其實大家如果有興趣，亦都可以即係可以快啲諮詢，即係諮詢 Frasers Property 啦，或者可能留言俾我哋啦。咁我哋都可以將你咧即係 refer 翻俾佢哋㗎。咁啊另外啦，當然啦 offer 其實亦都同Queensland 頭先個項目都一樣。其實咧佢嗰個7% 個 tax rebate 咧，其實亦都係可以包埋嘅。咁啊另外咧同埋都係嗰個 application fee 即係 FIRB。咁其實亦都係即係發展商即係 Frasers 亦都係會包埋俾你，咁都係唔需要俾，都係免費㗎。咁所以其實即係大家或者可能都可以考慮下既然有呢一個咁嘅優惠，會唔會可能都會計下數都抵喎？係啦。咁所以嚟緊我哋嚟緊究竟係咩個項目咧？
同埋講下一個項目之前啦，咁都好多謝係觀眾朋友收睇我哋直播啦，咁亦都係喺 Facebook comment 上面留言啦。咁咧，我哋同事會盡快覆你啦，咁就俾多啲更加多項目嘅資料你啦。同埋咧，其實我哋呢個直播完咗之後咧，咁呢一個直播都會係變成一個 video 啦。咁所以觀眾朋友咧都係可以隨時再不斷 replay 去翻你想睇個項目或者你想睇或者聽嘅資訊嗰 part 嘅。係啦，
咁啊其實咧究竟有咩方法可以去不停咁去睇 replay 咧？其實就係可以嚟就係嚟like 我哋 follow 我哋即係 GY.Asia Hong Kong 嘅即係 Facebook 專頁啦。嗱，當你 like 咗之後，當你 follow 咗啦，咁其實我哋有啲咩最新資訊，或者可能其實你去翻我哋個 Facebook 專頁睇翻我哋個 video list 裏邊咧，你就可以撳翻出嚟啦。咁呢個就係一個 Facebook 捷徑。咁我希望大家可以 comment、like 同埋 share。係啦。咁我嚟緊我哋講啲乜嘢嘅項目咧喺度？
另外咧，呢個項目就係叫做即係Burwood 啦，係啦。咁而家呢個項目咧，亦都係喺Melbourne 嗰邊嘅。
我哋而家由西澳，我哋又變翻去東岸啦。咁啊，東岸我就去翻我就去 Melbourne 啦。咁啊，Melbourne 咧，啱啱頭先 Vanessa 都有講啦，呢個咧就喺佢其中一個 suburb 喺 Burwood 裏邊嘅。咁佢嗰個項目咧就係 Burwood Brickworks。咁其實我哋咧都即係都當然會喺而家喺 Melbourne 嘅同事同我哋即係都介紹下佢而家呢一個項目佢嗰個嘅有咩 selling point 啦，同埋佢嘅價錢係點嘅。我哋歡迎佢出嚟先。
好，
係 ，hello。
Hello, Adam.
Hello, Adam. Hello,
need to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Hello.
I got it now. Hi guys, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yep. So we just introduce you and the project to our Hong Kong audience that you are going to talk more about like Burwood Brickworks to our audience. So, yeah. Thank you. So over to you.
Yeah, so my name is Adam Bryan. I'm the Agent Alliance Manager for Frasers Property in Victoria. So I'm coming to you live from our Burwood display. You can see the kitchen in behind me. And this is really an exciting project for us and for myself to be involved in, to be really honest with you. It's located 17 kilometres from Melbourne's CBD. We are in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, which is quite a prestigious area and really well-established area. And what we're building here is a really unique master planned community. It's 18.5 hectares in size, and we're looking at producing or building 700 new residents within the estate. There's quite a bit to tell you about the master plan community, so I'm going to try and keep it as brief as I can. But one of the key features, and you might be able to see that way, some of it behind me, is we've got this fantastic parcel of open space and parkland that links all the residents together. And it's 2.5 hectares. It includes walking tracks, beautiful landscape parkland area, and this lovely plaza, almost got a bit of a European feel, how it connects all our residents. And that opens up to some lovely cafes and restaurants in our shopping centre that I'm going to chat about shortly for you as well. The other great thing about location is we're in a real education hub here in Burwood. So we've got great access to 2 of Melbourne's leading universities. We're in a fantastic high school zone, which is really sought after. And you've got the benefit of having transport at your doorstep, whether it be the tram into the city or the bus as well. So the other real key feature to this whole master plan is all our residents have access to this fantastic retail or shopping precinct that is already completed. Now, the shopping precinct is the first of its kind in Australia, and as far as our understanding goes, the first of its kind in the world. And the reason it's so unique is its features and its sustainable features, where in fact the building produces more electricity and energy than it uses. So really unique feature. And it offers all our residents a convenience. You've got 40 specialty shops, you've got medical centre, childcare centre, you've got your supermarket. And the other bonus is all the residents can also enjoy the entertainment side of it. So you've got cafes, restaurants, a cinema, all within walking distance to your home, from your home. The other real highlight for me is we have this urban farm, which is on the rooftop of our shopping precinct. And that urban farm, they grow the produce, the fruits, the veggies, the herbs, all of that. And then that's delivered to the restaurants and cafes. So if you come to Burwood and go to that rooftop cafe and restaurant, you're eating the produce grown on the rooftop. I haven't seen anything like it before. As I say, it is a fantastic shopping centre, and it's the first of its kind in Australia. So it's a really exciting project for us. So getting back to talking about what we're selling currently within the master plan community, and that is our off-plan apartments. So at the moment we have access to what we call our Ardent collection, which is a 5-level building. We've got 94 apartments. These are all off-plan. They're a range of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. They're starting from, our 1-bedders start from about $440,000, which in this pocket of Melbourne is excellent value. They are packed with features in terms of blinds, island benches is how you say it, and really well-equipped kitchens that you can see behind me. And the other brilliant thing about the building is you've got some great amenities that all the residents can use. So we've got an exclusive resident spaces, which includes your gym, includes function areas you can book out, indoor and outdoor dining. There's also a private cinema there. So you've got lots of amenity within the building that you can use. Plus you've got that shopping precinct on your doorstep that you've got access to. So it has really been a hugely successful project for us. It continues to sell so well because there's really nothing like it in this part of Melbourne. So it is a very, very popular project. So with our off-plan apartments, we're looking at completing the building in the second quarter of 2023. So certainly a great time to come and look at Burwood and consider Burwood, whether it's to move to Melbourne or whether it's to invest in Australia and invest in Melbourne. So that's probably, again, a pretty brief summary, but I hope that gives you an understanding of this fantastic master plan community that Frasers has created. And as I say, really excited to be involved.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
So can I ask a question? So for these projects in Burwood Brickworks, so any special offer to our audience or the Hong Kong buyers?
Look, what we've done with Burwood is we've included, I guess, a lot of items that we don't normally include in our apartments. So we've got some additional island bench that we are including in the apartments. We've also got all the window furnishings that are included in the apartments. And I feel, and again, we can talk about this in more detail, but really competitively priced as well. So we have released these apartments at the set price. We haven't added anything else on top in terms of discounts or incentives, and the sales have been very, very strong. So as I say, we've probably built everything in to our offer today, and to any clients that are on the call at the moment, they're going to get a fantastic apartment if they're looking at Burwood.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for sharing today. Thank you.
Thank pleasure. Anytime. Thanks, guys.
See you.
See you. 係啱啱咧 ，Adam 咧同我哋咧就講咗喺 Melbourne Brickworks 啦。咁其實咧一個項目咧，其實咧就係喺 Melbourne 嘅東邊㗎。咁啊，其實佢嗰個項目咁，另外嗰個名咧叫做 Iron Collection 啦。咁其實我頭先都有問Adam 究竟即係有冇優惠啦？咁其實佢話咧，其實佢個價錢係非常之已經點講咧？佢個價錢咧係非常之吸引嘅，係啦，亦都係非常之即係覺得係值得大家可以去考慮咯。咁佢嗰個一房咧就係40幾萬起啦，佢兩房咧就係57萬起嘅。咁其實佢咧就係喺呢一個項目咧喺2023年嘅大概咧 Q1 或 Q2 咧其實就會完成啦。咁啊，另外就係話喺嗰個咧每個單位裏邊咧，其實佢有啲即係好多都係有包咗啦，係啦，其中有一樣嘢咧就係話廚房嗰個 island bench 即係或者可能即係香港就比較少呢樣嘢啦。咁 island bench 就係即係可能大家可能去啲好大嘅地，即係比較即係地方大嘅廚房咧，其實佢喺除咗平時你嗰個星盤嗰個位貼住牆咧，其實佢對出咧。其實係有一個島仔嘅，咁其實嗰個應該係個工作台啦。咁啊工作台咧，咁其實就會包埋，亦都係送埋咯。咁另外當然咧有好多其他都係會即係唔同嘅優惠，亦都會提供翻俾大家啦。咁我當然啦，因為時間有限咧，我都不能即係每一樣都一一盡錄啊！咁所以如果大家咧對呢一個項目有興趣咧，亦都歡迎留言俾我哋啦，或者可能係直接聯絡翻咧即係 Frasers Property 佢哋。咁其實佢哋嗰個電話同埋佢個 email 咧，亦都喺我哋嘅 comment box 度編 top 咗，咁亦都可以聯絡翻佢哋咯。係啦，咁我哋咧即係接住落嚟咧，其實我哋咧就想同大家咧就講下
兩個接住都係喺 Sydney 嘅項目。
係啦。咁啊 Sydney 其實咧一直咧都同Melbourne 一樣咧，都比較多嘅注意啦。即係依兩個城市。咁當然啦，咁我哋嚟緊究竟係Sydney 係，但首先係邊一個區先咧？咁我哋就介紹我哋同事出嚟先啦。
好。
係啦，就係。
Hello Anthony.
Hello Anthony.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Hi. So which project that are you going to introduce to us in Sydney?
So today I'll introduce Midtown, which is in Macquarie Park in Sydney.
Yep. So over to you.
Midtown is thank you. So Midtown is Sydney's next great urban neighbourhood, located in Macquarie Park in the Sydney's northwest, 15 kilometres away from the Sydney CBD. This location has everything that you seek. So from the work, education, transportation, and entertainment, everything is all within walking distance. So firstly, in terms of the work side of things, Macquarie Business Park, the second largest business district in New South Wales, second behind the Sydney CBD, 600 metres away from our site. You have Macquarie University, which is ranked in the top 1% of universities worldwide, 600 meters away from our site. Macquarie University Metro Station. This will get you out to Barangaroo Station in 6 stops and operates every 4 minutes. That's 500 meters away. You have Macquarie Shopping Centre, which is the largest suburban shopping centre in New South Wales, 550 meters away. Midtown is a truly master plan development. The site will be built over 8.2 hectares. This will have 30% of green space, featuring the home ground, which is an open park space, pocket parks throughout the development as well. There'll be the Midtown Marketplace, so cafes, restaurants, and a convenience store, all within walking distance. You have a community centre, which will also feature a commercial pool and a commercial gym. There's a proposed primary school to come in. There's a retirement living area and 2 childcare centres as well. So the first childcare centre will be in our first building, then also within our proposed primary school area. Mac, which is the first building we're currently selling, is on the market at the moment. So in terms of available stock at the moment, we have 1 bedrooms. Sorry, give me 1 sec, just having a few difficulties. 1 bedroom starting at 625,000, or ranging up to 810,000. 2 bedrooms at 810,000, ranging to $1,025,000. 2 penthouses, one at 1.465 million to 1.988 million, all available right now. The first stages of construction for our first building, Mac, is already under construction. We're due to complete in early 2023. Today, we have a special offer for all our viewers. We have a rental guarantee for 5% for 12 months or 4.25% for 3 years. I truly believe there's something here at Midtown for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yep, thank you, Anthony, and see you next time. Thank you. Yep. 係啦，啱啱咧，其實 Anthony 同我哋講咗咧，就係 Sydney 咧，喺 Macquarie Park 嘅其中一個項目啦。咁啊，其實佢個小社區咧，其實咧就係叫做Mac Park 嘅。咁喺 Macquarie 附近。咁我相信其實如果咧有去開，即係可能有留意開即係 Sydney 嘅項目嘅朋友咧，其實都知道即係 Macquarie Park 其實都非常之受到香港好多人嘅。
好多人都去嗰邊留學啦。
係啊，係啦 ，Macquarie University 咁係啦。咁所以其實咧呢一個項目咧，亦都係即係都非常即係都非常受到注目啊！咁其實啱啱就講咗啦，其實佢呢個社區咧，其實就係即係側邊都有好多唔同嘅配套，都已經係即係希望可以帶到一個即係方便嘅生活俾大家啦。咁其實基本上好多即係大家諗得到嘅，其實佢都會有㗎啦。咁同埋另外咧，就係佢即係佢呢一個同埋都好注重教育啦。咁其實頭先都有Anthony 都特別都有講啦。其實咧，即係頭先我哋都話近 Macquarie Park，咁當然隔離都有啲即係比較教育嘅資源都喺附近啦。
係啊，無論可能係新學校啊，即係亦都頭先講咗好出名嘅大學啊，無論育兒啊，或者社區中心咧，都係有好多呢啲完善嘅設施，已經係有齊晒所有配套喺度。係啦，
咁其實咧就咁睇咧，其實都比較即係適合即係可能如果大家移居啦，其實大家即係都有小朋友啦，或者係一個家庭啦，咁其實呢一個大家都可以考慮下。其實呢個就係即係無論你可能即係返工做嘢啦，或者可能係你即係小朋友你去返學啦，即係無論係咩年紀都好，其實佢附近其實都有一啲比較好嘅即係學校個 school zone 都喺附近㗎。咁所以其實大家即係都如果有興趣嘅話，都可以聯絡返 Frasers 啦。咁其實佢嗰個1房單位咧，其實由60幾萬起啦，2房就80幾萬起啦。咁同埋咧如果 penthouse 或者再以上大啲咧，就係由即係澳紙140幾萬起嘅。咁其實佢咧就喺2022年咧嘅即係下半年其實就會完成㗎啦。咁當然啦，咁都呢一個項目咧，其實都有即係一啲就 special offer 咧，有啲優惠俾大家，咁其實可以大家揀嘅。咁咧就係咧喺12個月裏邊咧，其實佢係有個租務個即係租務保證係5% 啦。咁啊如果大家亦都第二個選擇咧，就係喺3年裏邊咧有4.25% 嘅。 係啦，咁佢哋其實佢優惠咧都去到即係今年2021年嘅4月30號啦，係啦。
咁或者大家都留意翻，其實頭先提到嘅幾個項目咧，都係有即係唔同嘅即係租金回報嘅 offer 啦。咁亦都係即係嗰個 deadline 就會係4月30號咯。所以即係大家如果有興趣嘅話，都可以考慮一下，或者喺呢段時間就可以即係聯絡翻 Frasers 嘅同事啦，咁就了解更多。
係啦，咁因為其實大家都會見到佢哋都唔同嘅城市啦，即係唔同嘅項目啦，其實佢哋都有唔同嘅價錢啊。咁其實咧都會視乎翻其實大家嗰個即係嗰個視乎翻大家嗰個意願啦，同埋其實大家個 budget 咯。係啦，嚟緊我哋喺 Sydney 嘅另外邊一個區咧？
嚟緊咧就係叫做 S Square 啦，呢一個項目。咁咧就會係喺 Edmondson Park 啦。
係啦。
Evan 你熟唔熟咧？呢個我就唔係好熟，因為你之前住過喺 Sydney。
我 Sydney 咧，其實我之前都住過，我喺Macquarie附近都住過啦。咁我之前咧我就住Carlingford 嘅，係啦。咁啊之後我就喺 City 我都要住過。咁啊另外咧啱啱如果喺即係喺個 Edmondson Park 附近咧，我都住過喺即係比較 Sydney 比較南邊嘅地方啦。咁其實我哋都即係而家都即係都覺得。其實 Sydney 大家即係都視乎大家唔同嘅，即係工作需要啊，或者學校啊，或者可能即係住得近啲，即係近啲大家嘅工作啊，或者學校其實都你可以有唔同嘅區啊。咁當然啦，大家亦都可能會話其實會唔會淨得係咪淨係得依個區？即係大家可以諗咧，其實又唔係嘅。咁如果大家亦都覺得啊，其實我想知多啲可能唔單止係 Sydney 嘅，即係我想話我移居去 let's say 可能我要移居去 Melbourne 或者係 Queensland， 咁有冇其他區都可以選擇咧？我相信咧 Frasers 亦都可以
解答大家，因為始終佢哋項目太多啦，即係可能你每一個地區或者可能唔同嘅省你都有興趣嘅時候，咁其實就揾翻佢哋去做一個即係諮詢或者介紹仲好添。
係啦。咁所以其實我哋嚟緊咧就最後同大家去介紹呢一個就係 S Square 啦嘅呢一個項目啦。咁我哋介紹個同事出嚟先。
好。
係啦。
Hello Winky。Hello
Winky。
大家好。聽到？
聽到
OK 好。咁大家好啊，我係 Winky Ho， 我係澳洲星獅地產 Sydney S Square 嘅項目銷售經理。今日我好高興又再一次可以喺我呢個星級展覽廳入邊同大家傾下偈。咁大家都睇到我身後面呢一個模型咧，就係 S Square。咁一講起 S Square 咧，其實香港嘅朋友咧就好熟悉嘅。點解咁講咧？因為其實 S Square 嘅發展模式咧，就係香港嘅加州花園加太古城嘅合成體。加州花園大家都識啦，係咪？整體開發、統一管理，所以20-30年之後，大家翻去咧，佢都一樣係咁值錢，一樣咁受呢個買家追捧嘅。咁喺 S Square 入邊咧，我哋都有呢個別墅嘅發展，我哋有1房、2房、3房、4房啦。價錢咧就好似頭先啲同事話，睇下你個荷包，你哋想使幾多錢嘅。咁如果呢個別墅嘅開發咧，我哋而家有少量嘅單位，但係落成嘅時間咧要去到出年嘅年尾啦。咁如果大家有需要多啲資料嘅話咧，可以隨時聯繫我嘅。咁但係因為呢個樓花咧，我哋行唔到入去工地睇嘅，所以咧冇咁興奮。咁我哋好興奮嘅咧係咩？我哋係講翻我哋 S Square 嘅太古城。咁我喺呢度咧，一講太古城咧，大家個印象就係話，我哋喺呢個地鐵站上蓋啦，我哋有商場啦，我哋有多層嘅住宅。咁 S Square 咧，正係咁樣一個模式嘅開發。咁我哋頭先講咧，大部分我哋個項目咧都有好多配套設施嘅。咁我喺 S Square 都一樣啦，我哋喺呢一個 S Square 嘅 train station 前邊。咁大家都知啦，喺外國，如果你唔揸車嘅話咧，呢一個火車咧係一個最普通嘅交通工具。咁大家咧就會去坐火車去到邊度都得㗎啦。咁喺 S Square 呢個商場入邊咧，我哋會有一個140個學位嘅托兒所啦。我成日都講喺外國生完 B 冇姐姐幫手嘅喎，咁點啊？等喺托兒所，然後媽咪就可以去返工。咁我而家下邊咧已經有呢個超過4萬個平方尺嘅大型連鎖超級市場 Coles Supermarket 已經喺度開咗業㗎啦。咁隔離咧就係有我呢一個賣酒嘅地方啦。 咁然後行落少少咧，大家見到呢個七彩繽紛嘅咧，呢個係有6個電影院嘅戲院。咁即係話，如果大家中意睇戲嘅話咧，你一日就可以睇6場戲。咁再行過少少咧，我哋就有呢個醫療中心啦，有牙醫啦，有普通科門診啦，亦都有呢個物理治療嘅設施。咁你睇完醫生喺外國醫藥分家噶嘛，咁你咪可以落去樓下配藥咯。所以嚟講咧，就一應俱全，好方便嘅。我哋成日都講啦，呢個係一個5分鐘嘅社區。點解？你住喺呢度，你行落去有商場啦，有食肆啦。我個食肆嗰條食街係20到25個餐館嘅，咁即係話1個月你先至差唔多食得佢晒，食完其他嘅時間你咪買餸煮飯咯，整個腸胃休息下。咁我哋講翻呢個住客嘅平台花園啦，同太古城都係好似嘅。平台花園我有2個燒烤區，咁你話今日天氣好好喎，我游下水，然後走落樓下超級市場度買啲燒烤、腸仔啊、牛扒，你就可以做一個好快嘅 barbecue， 連爐都唔使洗，連嘢都唔使喺屋企整嘅。咁你話我做完呢一個 barbecue， 我食得太飽喎，咁點啊？你可以游水，我有呢個室外恆溫泳池，或者你話我游完啦，唔想游，唔緊要。行2步，我有 Anytime Fitness， 大家一樣 keep 得好 fit 嘅。咁我哋今日咧，其實重點推介咧就係呢個已經落成咗嘅公寓，即係多層住宅單位。咁我哋講多層唔係好高嘅啫，12、13層，咁其實係好舒服㗎。我哋有少量嘅1房同2房嘅單位可以俾大家去選購。1房大概由47萬5，當然澳幣啦。2房咧，我哋係由61萬5開始嘅。咁全部都送最少1個車位同埋呢個儲物籠。咁當然啦，大家就話：喂，我都未過嚟住，我買喺度咪嘥咯？唔嘥嘅，我哋一樣有呢個租金保證。我哋有12個月嘅5%。咁如果大家揀完單位之後咧，通知我，我同你喺嗰個單位入邊實地做一個視頻，咁你就知道室內裝修啊、室外環境啊，你可以知道一清二楚，絕對唔係好似頭先你哋話齋隔山買牛咁嘅，係咪好心動咧？心動不如行動，打電話俾我，多謝晒 ，thank you。
係，唔該晒 Winky， 係啦。咁其實咧，我想問下 Winky 啦。咁其實而家呢一個項目咧，其實都有啲乜嘢嘅special offer 可以俾到大家咧？
其實我都係翻去頭先我哋 Melbourne 個同事講啦，我哋其實定個價錢咧係好貼近個市場嘅，咁所以其實俾你哋包租呢一個優惠咧，其實喺呢個市場係可以個需求嚟嘅，基本上咧。係，只不過係俾一個定心丸，大家唔使驚買咗未有租客喎，咁樣嘅啫。
明白。咁或者都同大家所以都 confirm 翻啦。咁其實呢一個優惠咧，其實咧就即係包租嘅優惠，其實就係去到即係今年嘅4月尾啦。咁所以其實大家如果即係有興趣嘅話，或者係興趣澳洲嘅太古城，咁其實咧就要聯絡 Winky 啦。
係加埋加州花園。
加州花園同埋太古城喺澳洲嘅，
因為我有住宅單位，我亦都有呢一個別墅嘅單位。
明白。咁我相信咧，其實即係都 Winky 大家同聲同氣啦。其實咧，即係都可以，即係可能問多啲，即係究竟其實
問多少少，
即係究竟喺澳洲，究竟我邊一個區？究竟其實佢點解 Winky 會咁獨到地講啊？其實呢一個其實就係香港嘅加州花園同埋太古城咧，就係因為本身即係 Winky 其實佢兩邊即係香港同埋澳洲又好，其實佢都非常之了解啊。咁所以其實咧就可以即係俾大家可以即刻可以聯想到呢一個就係一個嘅比較藍籌啲嘅地點同埋藍籌啲嘅項目咯。
其實大家真係可能對於 Frasers Property 咧未有咁熟悉，咁但係頭先我哋咁多個同事講完咧，第一個因為其實我哋都分得好遠噶嘛，東南西北係咪唔同嘅州？咁但係第一個感覺咧就係我哋公司第一係做大型嘅開發嘅，咁大家喺香港都會覺啦，如果你係太古城啊、黃埔花園啊、沙田第一城啊呢啲大型藍籌開發，就算20-30年之後一樣受買家追捧。另外一樣嘢係咩？價錢企得好硬啊嘛。
明白。咁同埋其實咧都明白，其實即係除咗喺個價錢，其實首先已經係好貼近嗰個即係好貼近嗰個成本啦，係啦，同埋市場啦。咁我相信其實大家咧即係都有自己嗰個考慮，就係喺唔同城市有唔同嘅 budget， 亦都有唔同嘅即係要求咯。咁我相信其實即係我哋即係我今日都差唔多叫晒冷咁滯啦，同大家即係講好晒唔同嘅 city。
唔知㗎，我哋公司有咁多項目，歡迎
先都有成20幾個啦，係咪？
係啊，咁所以其實今日咧都係大家即係喺即係喺Frasers Property 嘅同事咧，即係覺得啊精選之中嘅精選可以同大家講，但係其實佢哋其實都仲有好多項目可以揀嘅。咁啊今日咧就唔該晒 Winky 先啦，係唔該晒，係。